Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and children. I've tried to memorise this speech, but forgive me if I resort to my notes. If I resort to them every 5 seconds. I did ask for an auto cue to be set up in front of me, but apparently the wedding budget didn't stretch that far. And unfortunately, neither does my eyesight. Mind you, there are a few presentations on the screen from Ian later, so you'll have to polish your reading glasses. Before we start the main event, there's something rather special that I'd like us all to share. 50 years ago today, my sister Dee and her then fiancé David tied the knot on 50 years of happy marriage. Yes, a golden anniversary. Would you all join with me, Shirley, and their children, Emma and Jonathan, in raising a glass to celebrate such a wonderful occasion?
Congratulations, Steve.
Last time I did a speech like this, I got emotional. Last night, Shirley said to me, "You're not allowed to get emotional." I think I've lost the plot already. Before starting to write the speech, a speech I've not had the pleasure of making before, I consulted several sources on what it should include. Best advice from the internet seemed to say that a joke should start the procedure. It's said to help the guests settle down. Actually, I think it's rather to help me settle down. So here goes. You've all come from various parts of the globe to be with us at Old Thorn on Gillian and Ian's wedding day. Apart from a few local school, family and work friends who've travelled only perhaps a few miles, university friends, family members and others have travelled up to 6,000 miles to attend this occasion, especially Alex and his family and Judith, who've flown across the pond to be with us. It shows how much you love and It shows how much you love and respect them both. Either that, or you just came for a free meal. But even that comes at a cost, because you've now got to listen to me. So let's start with what seemed to be the general flow of things. In the first instance, we would of course like to thank you all for coming and supporting Gillian and Ian on this great day. Jane, of course, because without your sterling efforts, Ian would not be here. Likewise, Ian's father and Gillian's grandparents, unfortunately not with us now, for their unfailing love and support. I'm sure we'll hear more later from the best men on what little charmer Ian was as a young lad. I, for my delight, will regale you with a few stories of Gillian and a little comment with regard to Ian later. So, however, first a toast to you, the guests. Thank you for coming, all of you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guests. I've got 2 glasses going in this.
Get interesting towards the end then.
The next suggestions seem to be that I should remind you, if you have forgotten, or indeed tell you, if your knowledge of Gillian is a little scarce, a little about her formative years and her aspirations. Stories like why she locked her mother in a cupboard when they were due to go out for a Christmas event. You know, interesting stuff like that. The fact that it took 25 years to complete a dream, Yes, Daisy finally arrived. 25 years after she wanted a Dulux dog. When you're both working, having a dog at home didn't seem practical or fair to the dog. So we said no. So like the bank that has relaunched this week, she said yes at Christmas, and Daisy has taken up residence. Or maybe I should look a little on the brighter side. Like, did you know that Jill nearly had a book published? Yes, a famous author. Or maybe. Well, not quite. Picture the scene. It's Monday morning in junior school. I believe they got some newfangled way of explaining what year it might have been. Her age is irrelevant, especially since I forget it. At my age, you do a lot of forgetting. The teacher has requested all pupils should be reading a book in their own time, and then come to class to tell the pupils about it. Educationalists believe this will boost retentive memory and communication skills. Well, Gillian, says the teacher, tell us about your book, which she of course does quite ably, followed of course by the other pupils, each with an extract from their book. Again next Monday, and so on, they're expected to complete the book. As the weeks go by, the teacher becomes engrossed in Jill's book and asks for more details, such as the author and the title. She fails to find the book in the published book lists, so requests the ISBN number. You know, that strange number on the edge of a book. All details are eventually duly given by Jill, but the teacher still cannot find a reference to the book. So at the next parents' teachers' evening, being confused, she asks Liz the questions about the book reading. What book reading is the reply? You know, the one she's been reading for several weeks and telling us about on Mondays. It was so interesting, I wanted to get it for the school library, and I can't trace it. Well, of course, you've probably guessed by now, this was all a figment of Jill's imagination. And the book did not exist at all. So I guess she passed on imagination and communication, but not on reading enthusiasm.
I think it was all about an avalanche, actually. I'm sure it was about an avalanche.
You sure it was real? It came as no surprise that Jill wanted to go into nursing. It's in the genes, you know. I couldn't say that she was always there to put plasters on cuts or to look after sick animals. Actually, when Roger, her rabbit, died, I had to go and check it and bury it. She wouldn't go near it.
Then Charlotte came over to go and help me. Do you remember that?
And it was dead. Ah, yes, the genes. You see, Jill can trace a nurse in every generation of the family tree back to nursing with Florence Nightingale.
Great answer.
That's a fantastic history, and of course puts no small pressure on any little Perkins that want to follow in the family tradition. Ian, take note. So after a period of studying for her A-levels, university beckoned. Well, she did indeed get there. That was after a number of visits to the local hospital with broken wrists, anaphylactic shock. Perhaps this was just practical research. And indeed, a minor altercation with a biology teacher, since indeed she needed to study human biology, not plants. I know little of what went on at uni, and perhaps it's best that I don't. But a great time was had by all. It was at about this time her fetish started. Sorry, Ian, nothing to do with us, but where she got the shoe thing from, I have no idea. I'm just glad that you've now got responsibility for the collection. I became aware of it when she moved back home, having finished uni. But more interesting and disconcerting was the call that I got just as they were packing up the final rented house. Dad, how do you fix floorboards? We can buy the wood, but can you help us, please? Yes, Ian, you'll be doing the DIY, and I suggest you watch out for the physical abuse of the floorboards. And so we come to recent history. Yes, the internet is amazing. I met Shirley via the internet. And indeed, Gillian and Ian have followed suit. And then I get a call from Ian. Is there a chance we can meet up? I've something to discuss with you. Well, I guess what? But why make it easy? Yes, of course, come on over. Well, you possibly don't know, but Ian doesn't drive a car. For those of you that live in the area, you might think it's only a few miles from Havant to Felpham, but it sure ain't quick and easy on a 700 bus. Plenty of thinking time for Ian. I guess anybody that is prepared to endure that journey can't be all bad. Mind you, I've only just got used to the man hugs.
We haven't.
So the internet instructions said that I should finish with a bit of advice for Ian. So here goes. As we celebrate your marriage, Ian and Gillian, the country is facing up to the worst economic and political turmoil we've seen since the 80s. You were too young to remember the 80s, Ian, but a woman was making all the decisions then too.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the happy couple, Ian and Gillian.
Oh dear, so that means that I'm next. First off, thanks Tim for those kind words. Oh God, you're going off already. So firstly then, on behalf of myself and Mrs. Gillian Perkins, aka the ball and chain, aka Jillzilla, aka she who must be obeyed, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for coming. Some of you have had very long journeys to make today, as Tim's already said. Yeah, that's right. From America, from Ireland, from Germany, from South Africa, and from this little known part of northern England that I believe is pronounced Skirtland. We all appreciate you joining us on our special day. Things people do for a free meal. Now, I think to an outsider, a groom's speech probably seems a bit like a drinking game with a finger fine for every thank you. So please make sure that your glasses are fully charged and don't down it all on the first one. Not looking at anyone in particular.
Oh, God, I didn't realise that.
So firstly, to all those who cannot be here in person today, we miss you all terribly and know that you are here in spirit. To absent friends, and now to the in-laws, Tim and Liz. I have to say I've been incredibly lucky in that I've somehow managed to avoid the stereotypical in-laws. From day one, you've both welcomed me into your families, and for that I thank you. When I embarked upon the bus journey to Tim's to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage, I had everything I wanted to say planned out in my head. Then the moment I stepped onto the bus, my mind went completely blank. The longer the journey went on, and it did seem like it took like months, the drier my mouth got and the sweatier I became. By the time I got to Tim's conservatory, I was a complete panic-stricken mess. I was unable to even form a coherent sentence, much like today. All that was running through my head was, how do you ask a man for his only daughter? Thankfully, he'd already worked out why I was there without Jill, and his gentle words of reassurance eased the pressure I was putting myself under. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but your view seemed to be that if I was that stressed, then you knew how much Jill meant to me, and that along with me being a bit of a traditionalist in wanting to ask your hand first, your permission first, it probably persuaded you that I was good enough for your little girl. I still wish I'd have done a PowerPoint presentation though. Thank you for not toying with me that day and for helping organise today. Thank you for your DIY help and advice. Thank you for letting me take your daughter to be my wife, although I do need to check her guarantee details with you. At this point, I was going to give you a present, but Jill's already given it to you. So
Thank you very much.
please, just parade around at your leisure to show the cufflinks. And
I have cufflinks which say "Father of the Bride"
And the tie pin.
and the title.
so now to Liz. What can I say about Liz?
What can't I say about this?
I've never met such a kind-hearted soul. Generous to a fault, the mother-in-law has taken a shine to me from day one. Well, I say day, it was about 2 a.m. and we were stood outside Jill's house after she'd just been burgled. All through the night, Liz was more interested in finding out about me than making sure that Jill was all right. I think it might have something to do with Jill being a bit understandably coy about her love life. Although apparently she did tell her mum that I was the one after only the second date. Liz has really made me feel like one of her children, and for that reason I call her Mummy too. Thank you for helping us with our garden. Thank you for getting us a washing machine when we realised we didn't have one. Thank you for just being you, Mummy too. And stop crying, you're going to set me off again. So we've got a little something for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it would be remiss of me to mention Mummy 2 without mentioning Mummy 1. As most of you know, we lost my dad to cancer, and ever since then, Mum has done her very best to continue to raise me whilst trying to deal with her own grief. Mum has been so supportive of me throughout my life, and although I haven't always agreed with her advice, I've always heeded it. I first told Mum that I was thinking about marrying Jill after only 4 months of seeing her, but I was a little concerned that I was rushing into it, because I have a tendency to let my feelings get the better of me. During our trip to New York, I decided that rushing it or not, I loved the girl, and I wanted to be as happy as we had been for the past few months for the rest of my life. Besides, I could have a long engagement like one of my best man Rich had. 9 years? Didn't quite work out that way. When I came back with the ring, I managed to slip below Jill's radar. Mum was so insistent that I proposed as soon as possible. I'm not sure if that's because she likes Jill so much or because she wanted to make sure she'd offloaded me. Well, she still hasn't quite managed it. I've still got so much stuff in the loft, it's unbelievable.
She charged rent.
So, to get Mum's outfit for today sorted, we took her to Debenhams. She doesn't really buy many clothes, and those that she does get are functional rather than sort of mother and groom style. So I wanted to make sure that she got something that made her stand out, as I'm only going to be doing it once this year. After a few minutes of searching, I found her the perfect outfit, and when she came out of the changing room, I was overcome with emotion. Partially because I wish Dad could have seen her in it, and partially because it's the best I've ever seen her look.
Aww.
Even the shop assistants were bowled over and crying. Thank you, Mum, for putting up with me for all these years. Thank you for doing my washing and ironing. Thank you for looking after the dogs when we go away. And thank you for just being there for me, and now for Jill too. So thank you to the bridesmaids, all 300 of you, for making sure that my wife didn't collapse with alcohol poisoning on her hen do's. Very fine line. Other than that, your responsibilities were to make sure that Jill doesn't lie in and miss the ceremony, and to sit back and look pretty, and I think you've certainly done that.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to come up, Jill and I would like you to have something as a little token. And now to the Three Stooges at the end there. Choosing a best man is a difficult decision, and in the end I couldn't choose between the three of them as they all share the same characteristics. All three are IT geeks, all three love Star Wars, and all three suffer from the same disorder where they come up with strange fantasies and totally believe that they're true. Please humour them when they come to their speech, especially as their psychiatrist refuses to let them out much. So Rich, nearest to me, I first met in our first job at the local co-op. A couple of months later, we found ourselves in the same business studies class in college together. The defining characteristics of Rich is that he's always 20 minutes later than he says, and we call this Bishano time. He is usually pretty organised, usually captain sensible, and always does his prep work. It's okay. Alex, I've only worked with for the past 6 years, but he's still managed to make a huge impression in that time. He's single-handedly responsible for the success of YouTube, from the amount of clips and links he posts on Facebook. On my stag do, I found out that he is absolutely awesome at karaoke, and I'm sure he'll take requests later. He also makes an amazing whoopee cushion, so kids feel free to jump in later. Dave, I've worked with for over a decade now. Showing your age now, haven't you? For those who didn't know him before today, last year he was over 5 stone heavier than he is now. When I asked him to be part of the wedding, he decided that to be able to fit into a suit that he wanted to lose some weight. We went to the first fitting a few months after that, and he had dropped so many sizes that it was easy to get him a suit. Since that point, he dropped a further 2 sizes and is now in the best shape he's been in since I've known him. So to honour their contribution in helping to arrange the stag do, getting me here on time, and most importantly, not looking better than I do, we would like to offer them a little something in addition to the rather funky cufflinks that they announced. So for those that don't know me so well, I have a love of new ideas and new technologies. And toys. In July I asked each of my best men to provide me with a photo of them front facing and side facing. From that I managed to get a 3D model of their heads created and then mounted onto some Batman figures. So hopefully this will be bribe enough to ensure that certain pictures and stories get omitted from their speech. So finally, Mrs. Perkins, we come to you. Jill has said to me that she wants gushing emotion, but I'm sure the rest of you don't want that. You want amusing pictures of Jill growing up, don't you? So, courtesy of Mum, Dad, Liz and Tim, I have a few pictures of Jill and I through the years. She's sexy and she knows it. At this particular point, my front teeth had just been punched out, that's why I seem to have the lips of Mick Jagger. Moody teenager. So So from an early age, Jill wanted to become a nurse, and I clearly wanted to be an Arctic explorer. We were both, however, disappointed. We both developed a love of music from an early age, although clearly I have much better taste in Jill's CD collection and iTunes history is ever going to go away. Jill likes to think she has a keen fashion sense. However, I think that mine is much better, obviously.
Don't worry, Jill.
So Jill is more of a sea creature and I'm more of an air, but we still managed to make it work. I guess that's the give and take of marriage.
You stole the photos off my wall.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now you know why I was up till 2 a.m. most nights. Right, that's next one. So we both love Christmas, but in true style, we actually like to play with the boxes more than the presents themselves. One of the main things that draws us together is the love of food, although there's been so many pictures of the love of food.
I'm just saying, look at Adrian's face, she's staring at it.
It's just disgusting.
Oh my god.
And this just takes it about one step too far. The other main picture was of Jill asleep, as she likes to lie in, although I'm clearly wide awake in the bottom two pictures. So Jill has a love of furry things, which kind of bodes well for me. And we kind of hang out with the same crowd. Brian, looking smart there, mate. And we both have awesome cool shades.
I just love the matching outfit, the jacket too.
Although they made out of the same pair of curtains. And we're both very close to our families. So, as Tim's already mentioned, Jill and I first met through a dating website called Plenty of Fish. Both of us have been on there a while, but haven't had the best of luck with our choices. Jill was about to give up with it, but luckily for me, she stuck through it for one more date.
Yeah.
Our first date was at Yo Sushi, and the second was at the cinema. By this stage, she thought I was really boring, and I thought that she was. Thanks, guys. And I thought that she wasn't interested in me because she was trying to act aloof. So I did what any sane man would do and got well and truly drunk, and that kind of worked out well for me so far. As an aside, some of you may be looking at the table names. On our New York trip with marriage on my mind, I decided to test the waters a little and see how Jill would react if I went down on one knee. I think it managed about 15 proposals in all over 2 weeks, and most of which were at the locations on the table name cards. There are also little facts in each of the name cards, and by the way, you will be tested. Jill, thank you for replying to my dating profile picture even though you thought I had a child.
Yes.
Thank you for rescuing me from a dark period of my life and finally making me happy. Thank you for making me smile every day. Thank you for looking absolutely stunning, beautiful and amazing. Not just for today, but for every day. Thank you for so many other things, but most of all, thank you for being my wife. I think you're amazing just the way you are, but minus the snoring and wind, of course. I must say it's been a bit of an emotional day for me, even the cake's been in tears. So now I've bored you enough, I'll pass you over to the highlight of any wedding reception. Rich, Alex and Dave, the best men. Just remember, they're on medication for their hallucinations.
You go forward then.
You be split there. As you can see, there's three of us. As you can see, there's three of us. So we've had to sort of work it out between us. So you may not go together, but we'll try. So, good afternoon, we're the best men. That's Ian. My name's Dave. This is Rich. And this is Captain Picard.
Cheers. Biggest picture ever. Hang on a minute.
We'd like to say how wonderful Jill looks today. As well as all the bridesmaids as well. All 500 of them. In case you didn't know by the presentation, we all work in IT.
Oh, bless her.
So a speech wouldn't be a speech without a quick presentation. So here it is.
Daddy.
For those of you that don't know, Ian and Jill met online on a computer. So I think we've covered that bit. But Ian also met his first girlfriend on a computer as well. Princess Peach. For those of you too young to recognise it, it's Princess Peach from the Nintendo game Mario. So that's probably most of you here, I would think. So without further ado, let's move on to the next section. Now, it's our job as the best man to make Ian look good, but we've known Ian long enough for that, so we're going to do it differently. Yeah. So the agenda for today's presentation is embarrassing, and embarrassing a bit more, and just press a bit more, and then we might have a toast at the end. Oh no, we're going to embarrass him some more, and then we're going to have a toast as well, right at the very end. So when we were writing this speech, we gave it to Ian to make sure that everything was correct and everything was factual. Well, this was the speech we did, and that's not the one we do. This is the one we're going to do. Now, some of you might have noticed a little picture on the back of this page. Now, those at the front of you could have had a good laugh, so the ones at the back might need a bit more of a close-up for that one. So now on to the main part of the speech. In researching the best man's speech, we found many tips on content and timing, but the one I like best is this. The best man's speech should only take as long as the groom takes to make love. So with that in mind, thank you, I'm good.
Now, unfortunately for Ian, there's three of us, so you don't get off quite that easily.
4, actually.
Honorary best man. So it's tradition in the best man's speech to tell you a little bit about the groom and his past. So let me tell you some of the history of this fine-looking and well-dressed young man you see before you today. And once I've stopped talking about myself, I'll tell you a little bit about Ian.
I thought you said young.
Now, what I'm going to show you here may sound a little bit like an obituary, and that's because as any man will tell you here today, Ian, after today your life of free will is effectively over.
It's over long.
So let's have a look back at some of the main events in Ian's life to date. So age 0, Ian was born in St Mary's in Portsmouth on the 26th of November 1978. Age 3... I think we've all read it. Age 3, Ian starts shaving. Age 4, he gets a Transformers toy, watches Star Wars and plays with it. Oh, Dave, we've messed this one up, sorry. Sorry everyone, that should have been age 34 on this one. Click. Age 5, he starts primary school. And age 8, he starts supporting Sheffield Wednesday. And you've seen some of the dodgy pictures because he models his hair on Chris Waddle's mullet. 11, he started Bourne Community College. And at 14, he stopped. He claimed he was a die-hard fan, but he stopped supporting Sheffield Wednesday after they lost 2 cup finals. But he liked the mullet so much, he kept it. At 15, the PlayStation 1 was released, and Ian went missing for days, only to be found in his bedroom by his mum, furiously playing with his joystick. You people have sick minds. I'm talking about the PlayStation console, come on. Age 16, he got a job at the Co-op, which, as he said, is where I met him, and then he started Havant College. 17, we all went out drinking underage. Of course, Ian doesn't really drink too much, he drank Coke, but of course, being the lightweight he is, he still had a hangover. Beautiful. You're a lucky girl, Jim.
And you get to wake up to that every morning.
Aged 18, I remember this. Danny Minogue releases her first topless calendar. Again, Ian goes missing for days, and again, only to be found in his bedroom, furiously playing with his joystick.
He's still got that Danny Minogue calendar.
And we all know why.
He tried to throw it away, but wasn't allowed.
To be fair, it was on his bedroom door for about 3 years.
Yeah.
It was a good year, Ian.
Oh,
20, he joined where he still works now at SSE, Scottish and Southern Electric. At age 20 as well, he finally started drinking, well, if you can call it drinking cocktails like woo-woos and Alco Pops.
Yeah.
21, a major event in his life, the PS2 and the Xbox was launched. And we've already heard, about 24 he started online dating, and of course you don't know who you're talking to online, he's pretty sure the first few were women. Another major event, the X Factor starts. See the theme there with Danny. 26, another major event, discovers triple sausage on pizza. And any of you who've been on a late night Domino's with Ian, that's what he likes.
please tell me you've got one.
But the good thing is, we get 70% discount being NHS staff, so he quids him.
Sorry Ian, the only person that gets any sausage tonight. Age 27, now this is another true story, Jane can back me up on this. Age 27, he fills his bedroom and loft with toys and collectibles, and then he makes his mum swap rooms so he can get more space to put his toys.
I didn't make up.
Yes, you do. 28, personal best. Anyone who's been to Pizza Hut with a buffet? Ian managed 21 slices. And crusts as well. So it's all very crusty.
Too right.
Age 30, he invents some made-up job role around innovation in SSE, so he gets to play with toys even while he's at work.
Oh yeah.
31, of course, he meets Jill. 32, they got their first home, or I like to call it their animal farm. And of course, the reason we're all here today, age 34, Ian gets married.
Hello!
Hello!
Of course, no man's best speech is complete without a few comments on the stag do. For the excuse me. For those of you that were not there, here's the summary. Hi. So this was going to be a video. Okay. Unfortunately, there's some technical issues, and it's a video of Ian having a drink. What I'd like to say is he's holding a shot glass. 6 sips. 6.
You counted.
Yes, we counted. For those of you who didn't, and obviously the following day, after his 6 sips, then we went shooting, and Ian got to play with a big gun. We were all very worried. Then Ian won that. At this point, I'd just like to add something to the speech. Richard here wore that a lot before giving it to Ian naked.
Nice.
Star jumps, press ups.
No.
All of
Did you demonstrate a lunge trick?
So, yeah, more dressing up, I think. And then strippers. And then the morning after.
Oh my god.
Ian had that tattoo surgically removed the next day,
Yeah.
and he's still got the scars to prove it on his face. Okay, we're going to have a little quiz now. Ian, if you'd like to come up.
Interact.
For those of you who know Ian well, you all know that he loves his quizzes. That way a bit.
He's not very good at them though.
You're not allowed to look at the screen though. Come forward a bit more. Forward. There. That way a bit more. Okay, so starting at the Old Dolphin pub in Havant when he was at college, and in recent years the film quizzes in Chichester at the cinema. So we all know a lot more about Ian. Let's have a quick quiz about him and see if you know him as well as we do. Now, Ian, we want you to... Okay, so what we want you to do is we'll be giving you the answers and you have to pick which one you think the answer is after everyone's had a go at guessing. Okay? Over to Dave.
Thank you very much. Back to me. Right, so the first question. Ian sits on a bench in Havant Park, having just been dumped by his latest girlfriend. What does Ian think? Plenty more fish in the sea? I wonder if I can change your mind. Or, damn, this bench is unlucky. It's the second time I've been dumped here. So, which one do we think is the answer?
C.
And Ian, the answer is?
It's C. Exactly the same bench, exactly the same place.
It's New Year's Eve, and Ian's just brought his new girlfriend round to his friend's house party. She's keen to impress, so does Ian help her charm everybody with her good looks and sophistication, or comfort her as she's quiet and shy and doesn't know anyone, or C, help her get blind drunk and watch her crawl on her hands and knees, barking like a dog before she throws up everywhere? And Ian, the answer is?
Sorry, Sharon. That was funny.
So, Ian asks after his ex to see how she's doing. Does he find out A, she's happily married, B, she's still single and can't get over the breakup with Ian, or C, she's turned gay? Yes.
Okay.
It was good.
So, Ian's the best man at a stag do. Does he look after the stag, ensuring that he has fun and kept safe? Organised to have the stag's manhood sprayed blue? Or C, gets blind drunk so he can't walk, is sick over his whole room and gets charged for a new mattress and extra cleaning by the hotel after a problem in room 505? And Ian, the answer is?
All of the above.
The correct answer, as Ian says, was all of them. Next question. Ian fails his driving test for the 4th time. Does he think A, I'll get it next time? B, I might need some more lessons? Or C, I'll make sure my next girlfriend can drive? And Ian, we all know what the answer is.
Exactly.
C.
So, Jill and Ian move into their new home with a list of DIY jobs ahead of them. Do they A, start with the basics by redecorating and repainting each room? B, replace the worn and broken flooring? Or C, install a hot tub? Yes.
Oh yeah. We got our priorities right.
So we've heard a lot about Ian. And I
Sit
think it's
down.
only right we say one or two words about Jill. So I just want to say a short story about how me and some of Ian's friends met Jill for the first time. So we're on a lads' night out, and Ian thought it was a good idea to bring his brand new girlfriend down to Cosham to meet all of his friends. So Ian brought Jill down into the Wetherspoons in Cosham, where she was greeted by about 10 drunk guys. So that would be a bit of a nightmare for most girls, but to Jill's credit, she took it in her stride. And us knowing that Ian's a bit of a sensitive soul, we decided to give her a bit of an interview to see if she was suitable as Ian's girlfriend. So we started asking her a list of questions, and these are some of the ones we've asked her. So, does she like animals? Because we all know Ian's basically just a hairy little beast. Does she like children? As we all know, Ian's a bit of a big kid, really. Does she like Lego? We've seen today how much Ian likes Lego and Star Wars.
Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Star Wars. Ooh, Ian, you sure you got the right girl? She got Star Wars and Star Trek confused.
Too late.
Does she like chili? And geocaching, to our amazement, actually, she'd already been geocaching with Ian already at that point. Amazing. We also asked her where she went to school. Can you believe it? Looking at Jill, she went to a convent. Is she a nurse? All guys like nurses? To Ian's fortune, she was.
Oh, brilliant!
Is that her lady? Hey? Is that her lady that got that?
I don't know. It's on a Facebook page.
Is it?
Brilliant.
And of course, as we heard earlier, can she drive? Finally, it being a lads' night, it wouldn't be a lads' night of asking a question like, what would win in a fight on the moon? A tiger or a shark? It was a lads' night, everyone was drunk. So Jill clearly passed all those questions well. So then we started to get a little bit more intimate. Does she like dressing up? Does she like Danny Minogue?
No.
Does she like small things? And finally, what's very appropriate for tonight, how does she feel about a sense of anticlimax and disappointment? So Jill clearly passed her interview with us with flying colours. And after discussions after Ian and Jill left, the guys all agreed, after only a few minutes meeting her, that she was perfect for Ian. And out of all the girlfriends over the last decade, she was the best by a long shot, and in fact the only one we met more than once. In fact, we all also agreed we liked her a lot more than Ian, and we'd probably invite her out for future lads' nights rather than him.
You do drink more than I do, so.
And this was particularly true on the stag do, when on the second day with Ian faking illness and refusing to drink, we all wished that Jill was there instead.
So moving forward into married life, Ian, you're very lucky. You leave here today gaining a partner who is warm, loving, caring, funny, who radiates kindness wherever she goes. By the way, how is Daisy? And Jill, you're very lucky too. You leave here today having gained a beautiful dress, about £4,000 worth of Lego, and a real-life Ewok. You dress good. He's so cute. Okay, we'd quickly like to thank Ian for being such a good sport. He is in all honesty, a fantastic guy, and we're all very proud to be here by his side today. I'd also like to point out in his defence that we may have used some artistic licence with the content of the speech, and not all of it's true. He didn't start shaving until he was 5. All that remains for me to do is to ask you to charge your glasses, stand and join me in wishing... my drink. Thank you, Richard. No, I can't do that. Just to wish you a happy and prosperous marriage together. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Perkins. There we go. And that's the speech is over. Good night.